They gifted him a dying alien girl for fun, but he defied fate to save her life. Rain poured down on the cracked pavement as Alex hurried home from his shift at the factory. 3 years since the Vexery had taken over Earth, and the weather control systems they'd installed still didn't work right in the lower sectors. He pulled his worn jacket tighter, ducking under the massive shadow of an alien patrol ship that hummed overhead. Alex Weber had once been Dr. Alexander Weber, a respected medical researcher with a bright future. Now he was just another human working the assembly lines, putting together luxury items for the alien rulers who had arrived without warning and claimed Earth as their own. His small apartment came into view, a gray box in a row of identical structures that the Vexery had deemed adequate for human habitation. At least he had his own place. Many weren't so lucky. As he approached his door, Alex noticed something unusual. A sleek black transport vehicle was parked outside his building, the kind only used by high-ranking Vexery officials or their human enforcers. His heart rate quickened. Nobody wanted attention from the aliens. Attention meant trouble. 2 human guards in black uniforms stood by his door. Their faces were expressionless, but their hands rested on their weapons. Alexander Weber, one asked, though it wasn't really a question. They knew who he was. Yes, Alex replied, trying to keep his voice steady. You have been selected to receive a gift from the Vexery High Command, the guard said, his tone flat. In recognition of your previous medical expertise. A gift? The Vexery didn't give gifts. They took things, land, resources, freedom. The second guard tapped a code into a panel on the transport vehicle. The side door slid open with a soft hiss, revealing a large container inside. It looked like a metal coffin, about 7 feet long, with blinking lights along its edge. What is this? Alex asked. A broken one, the first guard answered with a slight smirk. For your entertainment. Alex had heard rumors about this. Sometimes the Vexery would give broken members of their species to humans they considered useful or amusing. These broken aliens were usually injured or defective in some way, no longer valuable to their own kind. Some wealthy humans kept them as status symbols. Others used them for more disturbing purposes. I didn't request this, Alex said carefully. It's not a request. It's an assignment, the second guard said. The container will open once inside your dwelling. You will receive instructions on maintenance. The guards unloaded the container, which floated on anti-gravity nodes, and pushed it toward his door. Alex had no choice but to enter his code and step aside as they guided the container into his small living space. Maintenance is minimal, the first guard explained dispassionately. It will not require much food in this state. Water twice daily. The waste management system is automated. In this state? Alex questioned. It was damaged in an accident. High Command determined it was not worth the resources to fully repair. The second guard handed Alex a small tablet. Basic commands and limited translation program. Do not attempt unauthorized repairs. That would violate Protocol 37. Alex knew Protocol 37. Any human caught providing medical care to a Vexery without proper authorization would be executed. The aliens were paranoid about humans learning too much about their biology. Understood, he said quietly. Enjoy your gift, the first guard said with another cold smile. They left without another word, the door sliding shut behind them. Alex stood in silence, staring at the container that now dominated his small living area. After a few minutes, there was a soft beep, and the top portion of the container became transparent. What Alex saw made his breath catch. Inside lay a Vexery female, her skin the pale blue of their species, but marred with wounds and discoloration. Her limbs were thin, almost fragile-looking. Most Vexery stood 7 feet tall with powerful builds, but she seemed smaller, more delicate. Her eyes were closed, and her breathing was shallow and irregular. She wasn't just broken. She was dying. The tablet in his hand came to life, displaying basic information. No name, just an identification number. Status, non-functional. Permitted use, entertainment, display, research, non-invasive. Alex felt sick. He had treated the Vexery as enemies for 3 years, and they were, having conquered Earth with brutal efficiency. But seeing one like this, abandoned by her own people, wounded and helpless, it awoke something in him he thought had died the day the aliens arrived. His doctor's instinct. He moved closer, studying her through the transparent shield. Her injuries were extensive, broken bones that had been set poorly, burn marks along one side of her body, and what appeared to be internal bleeding based on the discoloration patterns on her skin. Without thinking, Alex pressed the button to fully open the container. The shield slid away with a hiss. The smell hit him first, medicinal but with an underlying sweetness that was unique to Vexery biology. Their blood contained high levels of glucose, making it smell almost like burned sugar when exposed to air. The alien girl's eyes remained closed, but a small sound escaped her lips, a whimper of pain. Her 6-fingered hand twitched slightly. Alex checked the tablet again. According to the readout, she had been given just enough medication to keep her alive but not enough to ease her suffering. They had literally given her to him so he could watch her die. Slowly. This is wrong, he whispered to himself. He knew basic Vexery physiology from bootleg medical texts that circulated in the underground network of former doctors. Enough to know that with proper care, she might survive. Enough to know that if he tried to save her, he would be breaking the highest law the conquerors had imposed. The alien made that sound again, a soft moan that transcended species differences. Pain was universal. Alex had lost everything when the Vexery came. His career, his purpose, his hope. For 3 years he had kept his head down, trying only to survive. Now, looking at the broken alien girl in front of him, he felt something stir inside him again. Compassion. Purpose. On the wall, his ancient clock ticked loudly. Each second that passed was one closer to this being's death if he did nothing. The tablet displayed a pulsing message, the offering has been delivered. Do you accept? His finger hovered over the screen. To accept meant taking responsibility for her. It would mean either watching her die or risking everything to help her. Alex took a deep breath and pressed, accept. The tablet changed to display basic vital signs, all dangerously weak. What have I done? He whispered. As if in response, the alien girl's eyes fluttered open. They were deep violet, unusual even for a Vexery, and filled with pain and fear. She looked directly at him, and Alex felt a connection he couldn't explain. Her lips moved, attempting to form words in her own language. The tablet translated, "Kill me, quickly." Alex shook his head slowly. "No," he said, not knowing if she could understand him. "I'm going to help you." Her eyes widened slightly before closing again as she slipped back into unconsciousness. Alex stood up quickly, his mind racing. He needed supplies, medications, proper equipment, none of which he had access to legally. He would have to contact people from his old life, people involved in the medical black market. The communication device hidden under his floorboard would connect him to Dr. Lin, his former colleague who still performed illegal surgeries for humans who couldn't access the alien-controlled hospitals. As he reached for the hidden compartment, a loud knock at his door froze him in place. "Inspection," called a harsh voice. "Open immediately by order of the Vexery security force." Alex's heart pounded as he quickly covered the alien girl with a blanket and moved toward the door. He took a deep breath, trying to compose himself. "One moment," he called out, hoping his voice sounded normal. He opened the door to find a human inspector in a black uniform with Vexery insignia on the shoulder. The man was flanked by 2 armed guards. "Routine inspection of your new acquisition," the inspector said coldly, pushing past Alex into the apartment. "I just received her," Alex said, following the inspector as he moved toward the container. The inspector glanced at the open container, then at the covered form on it. You've already removed the subject from stasis? Yes, I wanted to examine her. The inspector's eyes narrowed. Remember Protocol 37, citizen. You may observe, but not treat. The broken ones are for entertainment only. He pulled back the blanket, revealing the alien girl's battered form. The inspector studied her with detached interest, then checked something on his tablet. Specimen 4732-B. Yes, this one was damaged in a transport accident. High Command deemed it not worth repairing. He looked at Alex. You were a doctor before the arrival, correct? Alex nodded cautiously. Then you'll find this specimen educationally entertaining. Watch how long it takes to expire. The inspector smiled thinly. Some humans run betting pools on how long their broken ones survive. Alex felt sick but forced himself to remain expressionless. I'll keep that in mind. The inspector replaced the blanket. We'll check back in 1 week. By then, you should be ready to dispose of the remains. He handed Alex a small device. Call this number when it dies. Disposal teams will collect it. After the inspection team left, Alex slumped against the door, his legs weak with relief. That was too close. He looked at the alien girl, still unconscious on the table. 1 week, he whispered. They think you'll be dead in 1 week. Moving quickly now, Alex retrieved his hidden communication device and contacted Dr. Lin. I need supplies, he said when the call connected. Medical supplies. For a vexery. There was a long pause. Are you insane? Dr. Lin finally responded. That's a death sentence. Please, Lin. I can't explain, but it's important. Another pause. The old subway station. Midnight. Bring payment. The call ended. Alex checked the time, 6 hours until midnight. He turned his attention back to the alien girl. First, he needed to stabilize her. From what he knew of vexery physiology, their needs weren't completely unlike humans. They needed hydration, though their fluid requirements were higher. He carefully lifted her head and pressed a water container to her lips. Most of it spilled, but she swallowed a little, her throat moving weakly. Good, he murmured. That's good. Her eyes fluttered open again, violet against the pale blue of her skin. She stared at him, confusion and fear evident in her gaze. I'm not going to hurt you, Alex said softly. I'm trying to help. She made a sound, a series of clicks followed by words in the vexery language. The tablet translated, why, help broken thing? Because you're not a thing, Alex replied. You're a person. And I'm a doctor. Or I was. She seemed to study him, her large eyes moving slowly over his face. Then she spoke again, dangerous, for you. I know, Alex said. Rest now. I'll get what you need. The alien girl closed her eyes again, slipping back into unconsciousness. Alex prepared for his midnight meeting, gathering what little valuables he had left. Payment for black market medical supplies wouldn't be cheap. At midnight, he made his way carefully through the abandoned subway tunnels, avoiding the security drones that patrolled the city. Dr. Lin was waiting, a nervous expression on her face. This is madness, Alex, she said as she handed over a small bag of supplies. If they catch you. They won't, he replied, passing her his payment, a gold watch that had belonged to his father. Basic antibiotics, pain management, nutrient supplements, Lin explained. Adapted for vexery biology. It's not much, but it might help. Thank you, Alex said sincerely. Don't thank me. Just don't get caught. Lin hesitated. Why are you doing this? They conquered us, Alex. They destroyed everything. Alex didn't have a good answer. Because I'm still a doctor. And she's still a patient. When he returned home, the alien girl was awake, struggling to sit up. She fell back with a gasp of pain as Alex rushed to her side. "Don't move," he said. "You'll make your injuries worse." She looked at him, her breathing shallow and rapid. "Name?" she asked, the tablet translating. "I'm Alex," he replied. "Alexander Weber." She placed a six-fingered hand weakly on her chest. "Lyra," she said, without needing the tablet. She had spoken in English. "You speak our language?" Alex asked, surprised. "Little," she replied with effort. "Learned before." Alex carefully administered the pain medication Dr. Lin had provided. It seemed to help. Lyra's breathing eased, and the tension in her body relaxed slightly. "Why, help me?" she asked again, more clearly this time. Alex considered his answer. "Because it's wrong to let someone suffer when you can help them." She studied him again, her violet eyes intense despite her weakness. "Humans, interesting. Vexery say, no worth. But you, different." Over the next few days, as Lyra's condition stabilized, Alex learned more about her. She wasn't just any Vexery, she spoke elegantly when she had the strength, her mannerisms refined. On the third day, as Alex changed the bandages on her worst injuries, she watched him work. "You have skilled hands," she observed. "I was a medical researcher before your people came," Alex replied, concentrating on his task. "My people," Lyra repeated softly. "Not all same." Alex looked up at her. "What do you mean?" Lyra seemed to hesitate, deciding how much to say. "Family, important. My family, high rank." Alex's hands froze. "Your aristocracy. Part of the ruling class." She nodded slowly. "Was. Before this." She gestured weakly at her injured body. "I don't understand. If you're from an important family, why would they throw you away like this?" Lyra's expression darkened. "Politics. Enemies. I know too much." A cold fear settled in Alex's stomach. If she was involved in Vexery power struggles, helping her was even more dangerous than he'd thought. As if reading his thoughts, Lyra reached out and touched his hand. "Danger, for you. Should leave me." Alex shook his head. "No. I've made my choice." A noise outside the apartment made them both freeze. Heavy footsteps approached the door, then passed by. "Close," Lyra whispered. "Too close," Alex agreed. "But you're getting stronger. The medication is working." Lyra nodded. "Because of you. I remember you." There was something in the way she said it, as if remembering him was an important promise. That night, as Alex slept fitfully on his small couch, having given Lyra his bed, he was awakened by a soft sound. He found Lyra attempting to stand, her legs trembling with the effort. "What are you doing?" he asked, rushing to support her before she fell. "Must show you," she said, her voice urgent. "Important." With Alex's help, she made it to the window. Pointing to the night sky, to a particular cluster of stars, she said, "Home. My home. That's where the Vexery come from." She nodded. "Not all want war. Some want peace." She turned to face him. "Need your help. More than healing." Before Alex could ask what she meant, Lyra's legs gave out. He caught her, lifting her easily, she was still dangerously thin, and carried her back to the bed. As he turned to leave, her hand caught his wrist. "Alex," she said, her violet eyes intense in the darkness. "They come soon. Looking for me." "Who's coming?" he asked, a new fear gripping him. "Those who broke me," Lyra replied. "They know. I live. Can feel it." "How would they know?" Lyra touched her temple. "Connected. All Vexery, connected." When stronger, they sense. The implications hit Alex like a physical blow. If what she said was true, time was running out. The inspection team would return in 2 days, expecting to find Lyra dead. And now there might be others looking for her as well. Rest, he told her. We'll figure something out. As he returned to the couch, Alex realized how much had changed in just a few days. He had gone from merely trying to save a dying alien to being caught in what sounded like an interstellar power struggle. And somewhere along the way, Lyra had stopped being the alien in his mind. She had become a person, someone he was determined to protect. Outside, the rain began again, drumming against the windows of his small apartment. But for the first time in 3 years, Alex felt something besides despair and resignation. He felt purpose. The morning brought no relief from Alex's worries. As he prepared a nutrient solution for Lyra, a loud knock came at his door. His neighbor, Harris, stood there with narrowed eyes. "Weber," Harris said, peering past Alex into the apartment. "Heard you got one of them broken aliens." Alex blocked the doorway. "News travels fast." "Everything travels fast when it comes to the blueskins," Harris replied. "Especially the valuable ones." Something in Harris's tone made Alex uneasy. "What do you want?" "Just being neighborly," Harris said with a thin smile. "Thought I'd see if the rumors were true." He leaned closer. "They say yours is different. Special somehow." "She's half dead," Alex lied. "Nothing special about that." Harris's eyes gleamed. "She. Interesting that you're using that word already." He shrugged. "Well, if you ever want to sell it, let me know. I know people who pay well for Vexry parts." Alex felt sick but kept his face neutral. "I'll keep that in mind." After closing the door, he leaned against it, heart pounding. Harris was known for dealing in black market goods. If he suspected Lyra was valuable. "Bad man," came Lyra's voice from across the room. She had improved enough to sit up in bed, watching the exchange. "Yes," Alex agreed, bringing her the nutrient solution. "Very bad. And now he's suspicious." Lyra drank slowly, her strength visibly returning each day. The blue of her skin had deepened to a healthier shade, and the wounds were healing faster than Alex had expected. "Your recovery is remarkable," he observed. "Faster than human healing. Vexry adapt quickly," she explained. "When not prevented." "Prevented?" Alex questioned. Lyra touched the back of her neck, where a small device was embedded in her skin. "Control chip. Slows healing. Causes pain." Alex hadn't noticed it before. "Can it be removed?" "Dangerous," she warned. "If wrong. Kills me. If removed, they detect." Alex examined it carefully. The device was embedded deeply, with tiny filaments extending into her spine. Removing it would be extremely risky even with proper equipment. "I know someone who might help," he said finally. "Someone with experience in Vexry technology." That evening, Alex made another risky journey, this time to the outskirts of the city where an old colleague, Dr. Patel, had set up a hidden lab. Patel had been studying alien technology since the invasion. "A control chip?" Patel repeated after Alex explained the situation. "Those are reserved for high-value prisoners." "Who exactly did you say this alien was?" "I didn't," Alex replied carefully. "Can you help remove it or not?" Patel handed him a small device. "This will disable it temporarily. But removal requires surgery I'm not equipped to perform." He gave Alex a serious look. "Be careful, Weber. You're in something dangerous." When Alex returned, he found Lyra standing by the window, her silhouette striking against the evening light. She turned, moving more gracefully now. "You should be resting," he said. "Tired of resting," she replied. Her English was improving rapidly. Need to move. Need strength. Alex showed her the device Patel had given him. This might help with the control chip. It will disable it temporarily. Lyra eyed it cautiously but nodded. Alex carefully placed it against the chip in her neck. The device hummed softly, then beeped. The effect was immediate. Lyra gasped, her eyes widening. She straightened to her full height, nearly 7 feet tall, her bearing suddenly regal. Better, she said, her voice stronger and clearer than Alex had ever heard it. Much better. She moved around the small apartment with new confidence, her movements fluid and powerful. Alex realized he was seeing her true self for the first time. Who are you really? He asked. Lyra turned to him, her violet eyes intense. I am Lyra Val Soren, third daughter of House Soren, royal line of the Vexery High Command. Alex stared in shock. Royal line? Your royalty. Yes, she confirmed. That is why they tried to kill me. My sister seized power after our father's death. Those loyal to me were executed. I was to be disposed of, quietly. But why give you to a human? Humiliation, Lyra said bitterly. And they thought no human would help a Vexery. They expected you to watch me die. Alex sat heavily on the couch, the implications sinking in. So I'm harboring a royal fugitive. Great. I am sorry for the danger I bring you, Lyra said sincerely. But you have shown me that not all humans are as we were told. My sister has spread lies about your kind to justify her harsh rule. She sat beside him, her tall frame making the couch seem small. There are many Vexery who oppose her. Who wish for peace with humans. A resistance? Alex asked. Yes. And if I can contact them? She stopped suddenly, her head turning toward the window. What is it? They're coming, she whispered. I can feel them searching. As if on cue, Alex's tablet beeped with an alert, special inspection ordered for all residences with Vexery specimens. Effective immediately. How long will that device block the chip? Alex asked urgently. Hours only, Lyra replied. Not enough time. Alex paced the small apartment. We need to get you out of here. But where? The whole city is under surveillance. A thought struck him. The old medical research facility. My access card might still work. There's equipment there that could help remove the chip completely. If removed, Lyra explained, I can call my allies. But it is far. Across the city, Alex admitted. And heavily patrolled. Lyra stood, determination in her eyes. I am stronger now. I can make it. Their planning was interrupted by another knock at the door, harder this time, insistent. Alex checked the security viewer and felt a chill. Harris stood there with 2 Vexery soldiers. Weber. Harris called. Special inspection. Open up. Alex turned to Lyra in panic. The back window. To the fire escape. Go. As Lyra moved quickly toward the window, Alex heard the electronic lock of his door being overridden. They were coming in. The door burst open as Alex helped Lyra through the window. Harris and the soldiers rushed in, weapons raised. Stop them. Harris shouted. Alex pushed Lyra through and followed, pulling the window closed behind them. A blast from a Vexery weapon hit the wall beside his head as they scrambled down the fire escape. This way. Alex called, leading Lyra into the maze of alleys behind the apartment complex. They ran as best they could, Lyra still not at full strength. The sound of pursuit echoed behind them, boots on metal, shouted commands. There's a service tunnel ahead, Alex panted. It leads toward the research district. They reached the tunnel entrance just as a spotlight swept over them. Alex pulled the heavy cover aside and helped Lyra down into the darkness. He followed, sliding the cover back into place just as their pursuers rounded the corner. In the dim emergency lighting of the tunnel, Lyra's eyes seemed to glow. "They will follow," she said. "Yes, but they'll have to split up to search the tunnel system. It buys us time." Alex checked his watch. "The temporary chip blocker will fail in 3 hours. We need to reach the facility before then." They moved through the tunnels, the sounds of pursuit growing more distant. Lyra explained more as they walked. "My sister, Tella, has turned our mission here from peaceful exploration to conquest. Many Vexari oppose this, but she controls the military." "Peaceful exploration?" Alex questioned skeptically. "Your people arrived with weapons." "Precaution only," Lyra insisted. "We have encountered hostile species before." But Tella used Earth's initial resistance as excuse for full military response. They paused at a junction of tunnels, listening for pursuit. "If I can contact my allies," Lyra continued, "we can challenge Tella's rule. But first, the control chip must be removed." Alex checked his old access card, hoping it would still work at the research facility. "I'm not sure I have the surgical skill for that." "You must," Lyra said simply. "I trust you, Alex." Their eyes met in the dim light. In that moment, Alex realized how much had changed. A week ago, he had been a broken man in a conquered world. Now he was risking everything for an alien princess, caught in a war he barely understood. "This way," he said, choosing a tunnel that led east. As they moved deeper into the underground network, a sharp pain suddenly seized Lyra. She stumbled against the wall with a cry. "What is it?" Alex asked, supporting her. "The chip," she gasped. "They're activating it remotely." Her body convulsed in pain, her legs giving way. Alex caught her before she hit the ground. "The blocker is failing," he realized in horror. Lyra's eyes, clouded with pain, met his. "Leave me," she whispered. "Save yourself." Alex shook his head firmly. "Not a chance. We're almost there." He lifted her into his arms, her tall frame surprisingly light, and continued through the tunnel. Behind them, the sounds of pursuit grew louder again. Ahead lay their only hope, the abandoned research facility where Alex had once worked. If they could reach it, if his card still worked, if he could perform the delicate surgery to remove the chip. Too many ifs. But as Lyra's breathing grew more labored in his arms, Alex knew one thing with certainty: he would not let her die. Not now. Not after everything. The abandoned research facility loomed ahead, its dark silhouette a shadow against the night sky. Alex, with Lyra trembling in his arms, approached the side entrance he had used countless times before. The access panel glowed faintly, waiting for credentials. "Please work," he whispered, shifting Lyra's weight to free one hand and press his old ID card against the scanner. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the light turned green, and the door slid open with a hiss. "Still in the system," Alex said with relief. "Some administrator must have forgotten to purge my access." He carried Lyra inside, the emergency lights automatically flickering on as they entered. The facility was eerily quiet, abandoned after the Vexari had established their own research centers. Lyra's breathing was labored, her skin hot to the touch. "Chip, poisoning me," she managed to say. "Failsafe activated." Alex quickened his pace, navigating the familiar corridors until he reached the medical lab. He gently laid Lyra on an examination table and began powering up the equipment. "Hold on," he told her. "Just hold on." His hands moved quickly, preparing surgical tools while checking Lyra's vital signs on the monitors. The chip in her neck was now glowing faintly, pulsing with an ominous red light. "I need to operate immediately," he said. "The chip is releasing a toxin." Despite her pain, Lyra's eyes were clear and focused on him. "I trust you," she said simply. Alex administered a local anesthetic, hoping it would work on Vexari biology. Lyra remained conscious, but the pain in her expression eased slightly. "I'll talk you through it," she said. "Our physiology, different in key ways." With Lyra's guidance, Alex made a precise incision over the chip. Working with surgical precision, he carefully separated the device from the surrounding tissue. The tiny filaments extending from the chip were the greatest challenge, each one connected to her nervous system. "These filaments," he said, "they're integrated with your neural pathways." "Must remove all," Lyra insisted. "Or signal still transmits." One by one, Alex detached the filaments, Lyra flinching each time despite the anesthetic. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he worked, the delicate procedure requiring all his concentration. Finally, only the main connection remained, a thicker strand that pulsed with the same red light. "This one," Lyra warned, "main connection. When cut, great pain. Then, freedom." Alex hesitated. It could trigger a system shock. "Must risk," she insisted. "Or die slowly." Taking a deep breath, Alex made the final cut. The chip came free in his forceps. Lyra's body arched off the table, a cry tearing from her throat. For a terrifying moment, the monitors showed her vital signs plummeting. Then, slowly, they stabilized. The chip in Alex's forceps gave one last pulse of red light before going dark. He dropped it into a containment unit, sealing it. "It's done," he said, applying a regenerative gel to the wound. "The chip is out." Lyra lay still, her eyes closed, breathing steadily. Then her wounds, not just the surgical one, but all the injuries he had been treating, began to visibly heal. The Vexary regenerative abilities, no longer suppressed by the chip, were finally working at full capacity. After a few minutes, Lyra opened her eyes. They were brighter now, almost luminous in their violet hue. "Thank you," she said, her voice stronger. "You have saved my life twice now." She sat up, moving with new fluidity. "I must contact my allies. Now that the chip is removed, I can reach them without being traced." From a hidden pocket in her garment, she removed a small crystal device. It glowed at her touch, responding to her biological signature. "This will send a secure signal," she explained. "But we don't have much time. My sister's forces will trace our path here eventually." As if confirming her words, a distant alarm sounded. The facility's security system had detected other intruders. "They're here," Alex said, moving to the lab doors to secure them. Lyra activated the crystal, which projected a holographic display. She spoke rapidly in her native language, the crystal pulsing with each word. "Help is coming," she said after finishing the transmission. "But it will take time." The sounds of searching soldiers grew closer. Heavy footsteps echoed down the corridors, accompanied by the electronic beeps of scanning devices. "We need to hide," Alex said urgently. He led Lyra to a storage area at the back of the lab, a small space crowded with equipment. They squeezed inside just as the lab doors were forced open. Through a crack in the storage room door, Alex could see several Vexary soldiers entering the lab, weapons drawn. Leading them was Harris, looking smug. They were here, Harris told the soldiers. The alien female was injured. They couldn't have gone far. The soldiers began a methodical search of the lab. Alex and Lyra pressed deeper into their hiding place, barely breathing. "If they find us," Alex whispered, "what will they do to you?" "Execute me immediately," Lyra replied softly. "You. They will make an example of." One of the soldiers approached the storage area. Alex tensed, preparing for discovery. But suddenly, a massive explosion rocked the building from somewhere outside. The soldiers rushed to the windows. "Rebel attack," one shouted in the Vexary language. The soldiers ran from the lab, Harris following reluctantly after them. Once alone, Alex and Lyra emerged from hiding. "My allies," Lyra explained. "Creating a diversion." They moved to the window and saw a firefight erupting outside the facility. A group of Vexari, marked with blue symbols that differed from the standard military insignia, were engaging the soldiers. "We must get to them," Lyra said. "There is an exit through the lower levels." They hurried through the facility, the sounds of battle growing more intense above them. In the basement level, they found an emergency exit that led to a service road behind the building. As they emerged, a sleek Vexari transport vessel descended from the sky, landing on the road ahead of them. Its door opened to reveal a Vexari male with elaborate markings on his blue skin. "Princess Lyra," he said with a bow. "We feared you lost." "Markin," Lyra greeted him. "Thanks to this human, I am alive and free." Markin regarded Alex with surprise and respect. "Then we owe him our gratitude. Quickly now, we must leave before reinforcements arrive." Alex hesitated as Lyra moved toward the vessel. "This is goodbye then," he said. Lyra turned back to him. "Come with us," she said. "You cannot return to your life here. They know your face now." "Come with you." "Where?" "To join our resistance," she explained. "We have a base in the mountains. Many humans work with us already." She held out her hand. "We need healers, Alex. We need you." The sound of approaching ships filled the air. Time was running out. "What about Earth?" Alex asked. "Your sisters rule. We fight to end it," Lyra promised. "To restore the peaceful mission we originally intended. But we need allies, humans who understand that not all Vexari are enemies." Alex looked back at the research facility, at the life he had known. There was nothing left for him there, just survival and submission. But with Lyra, with this resistance, there was purpose. Hope. He took her hand and stepped into the transport. The vessel rose quickly, accelerating away from the city as Vexari military ships converged on the research facility below. Through the viewport, Alex watched the cityscape recede, the world he had known growing smaller. "What happens now?" he asked. Lyra stood beside him, her tall figure regal and strong, so different from the broken alien girl he had received just 1 week ago. "Now we fight," she said. "For both our peoples. For a future where we work together instead of one ruling the other." Markin approached them. "Princess, your sister has declared you officially dead. A state funeral is being planned." "Good," Lyra said. "Let her believe it. It gives us time." As the transport vessel flew toward the distant mountains, Alex felt a strange sense of peace despite the uncertainty ahead. He had saved Lyra, but in doing so, she had saved him too, giving him back the purpose and hope he had lost. "Thank you," Lyra said quietly, "for seeing me as more than a broken thing. For risking everything to heal me." "That's what doctors do," Alex replied simply. "No," she said, her violet eyes meeting his. "That's what heroes do." The transport ship soared higher, carrying them toward the resistance base hidden in the mountains, and toward a future where humans and Vexari might find a way to heal the broken world they shared. Behind them, the city lights grew dim, and ahead, the first rays of dawn began to appear on the horizon. A new day. A new beginning.